And good evening. You're listening to another episode of the Deathmatch Russell podcast. It's 9 o'clock, and we're getting ready to do another podcast right now, so stay tuned, fans. Just tune in right now, fans. I have on the line Pro Emerge Wrestling play-by-play manager, play-by-play commentator, Casey Johnson. So stay tuned right now, fans. Let's hear what he's got going on. Good evening, Casey Johnson, and how are you doing tonight, man?
I'm good. I'm honestly a little hungry, but I stay a little hungry most of the time, so that's not too huge of a deal.
Oh, yeah?
Every job.
It does. So how you doing tonight? Pretty good?
Yeah, it's been a busy day, and it's my finals week for college, so I'm stretched a little thin, but...
Right. You're, you have a lot of pressure on you, I know.
But either way, happy to be here.
Absolutely, and welcome to the Deathmatch Russell podcast. In my beautiful house apartment studio. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, I've been there. That's one thing about being a broadcasting guy.
Yeah.
Is that, I've got so much training now, I can pretty much set up a professional lighting setup with $8 Walmart lights and make it look halfway decent.
Hey, you know what? Hey, that works pretty good, you know? We could be like a cheap DJ.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we also do parties, fans, so that's right. If you need your help, we're up for hire. We'll travel. I'll stay my distances. How's that?
Right, yeah.
Combine together and we do DJing. That's it. No. Mm-hmm. But anyway, so what you got lined up going on with you? You have a lot going on with the Emerge coming up?
Yeah, no, we got a show coming up this Saturday, May 5th.
Yeah.
It's going to be an interesting one. Emerge has been an interesting place lately, so that's going to be great. And so we got, of course, our monthly shows with Emerge. I'm starting up a similar position with World's Finest, which is how you and I found each other.
Yes,
so
yes.
That's why this is happening.
This is happening. Let's, we're doing it right now because this is, I'm kicking it off. I just had a podcast with one of my local promotions. We're doing a deathmatch tournament this weekend on Saturday. Getting ready to kick it off with the big names. We got John Wayne Murdoch. We got him, and a whole bunch of other guys. And it's going to be awesome. Nick Gage, the one and only Nick Gage. So, we're ready. Ready for some violence this weekend. Ultra violence,
Yeah, and we got our brand of controlled violence going on in Columbus as well. So that should be fun.
Yeah.
Then a month from now, it's time to do it all over again in Connersville.
Right. Yeah. Just travel, right? Keep on traveling.
Yep.
I know. I'll be traveling too. I'm headed to Chicago in a couple weeks, actually, for Freelance Wrestling versus GCW. So we're get a little vacation in,
Yeah.
And see some freelance underground wrestling. So I've heard good things about them, and it's going to be fun for my promotion, GCW, to show their talent, what we got,
Yeah. Yeah, it's always good for different talent to be in there mixing it up with each other, especially guys that have never quite worked with each other before.
Right.
It's always fun.
Yeah, and then, we're doing a show Friday night with Freelance Wrestling, and then Saturday night's our show. We're going to have like a ultra-violence. Like, we're taking the ultra-violence to Chicago. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I'm sure you've heard...
Chicago's ready for it.
I'm sure you've heard of Game Changer Wrestling. They're, the hottest, we're the hottest East Coast deathmatch hybrid wrestling company out there on the East Coast,
Mm-hmm.
And like I told people, they killed it just recently at WrestleMania weekend. 2 shows, Bloodsport and Spring Break 2. So, yeah, it was the hype of the year,
Yeah, I was down at WrestleMania weekend, and just because of my schedule, I didn't get to attend as many shows as I wanted to.
Right.
And there's so much.
What'd you attend while you were there?
Well, actually, I just got to the big 2, the TakeOver and WrestleMania. The way it ended up working out, my buddy Ethan and I, who Ethan is my ringside cameraman and right-hand man in production at Emerge, we ended up getting down there Friday night at like 9.
Yeah.
And got there at like 11 on Saturday morning and took a nap, hit Bourbon Street super quick, and then headed to Smoothie King Center for TakeOver, and then we hit Access in the morning of WrestleMania and got to then WrestleMania later on.
Right. What'd you think of it? Pretty good, huh? It was pretty good.
Yeah, no,
it was really impressed. Ronda Rousey, come on, that was pretty awesome. She's a
we were talking immediately afterwards because the night started off so hot and it ended so kind of dull.
Yeah,
and like if the Rousey match had gone on last,
right, that would have been better. Yeah, it
would have. I mean, even if Charlotte and Asuka had gone on last, that would have been But it was definitely interesting, and it's a grind, too. I mean, if you're in that crowd to get, I mean, that was 8 solid hours, not counting the hour you spend outside trying to get inside, not in the Uber.
Yes,
even get within 2 blocks of the place.
Yeah. I know. It's crazy.
Our Uber driver was literally like,
lost.
We were like 2 blocks away, and he was like, can I just let you guys out here because we're wasting our time trying to get there? And we're like, no problem.
Goodbye.
We understand.
Yeah, not worth it. Now, next time, just walk. No, but yeah, it was a pretty good scene this year.
Man, TakeOver was crazy, especially live.
Yeah.
Man, the way all of those matches, really every match on the card, sucked in the fans. And I've heard there were some... I haven't gotten a chance to watch the show back yet, because, again, I was preparing for finals week. But I've heard there were some miking issues with the crowd, and the crowd didn't seem as hot as it actually was, but that was the hottest crowd I've ever been in.
Yeah. What other shows have you ever attended, like WrestleManias, or have you gone to any, WWE shows?
Well, I watch every time they're in Indy. My first experience with wrestling live was a show that was run at one of my local high schools that was not the best. It was kind of one of those money mark, I don't really know how to book wrestling, but I have a few WWE names shows.
Right.
We all know the kind.
Yeah, we know how it goes. I know.
Although, I mean, the wrestling there was actually pretty good. The match of the night, I distinctly remember, was a tag team match, and in that match was the guy who is now the Emerge champion, Chris Caliber, and one of my dear friends. I was just a guy in the crowd, and he was working. And then after that, I went to an IWA Mid-South show in Shelbyville, Indiana.
Yeah.
The following year, where when I look back on it now, had guys. I mean, the main event of that show was Drake Younger versus Chuck Taylor.
Wow. Yeah, Drake Younger.
Yeah,
talk about
for the IWA title.
Yes.
And they tore it up. The first match on the card was a 5-way match between most of the Naptown Dragons and Die Hard Dustin Lee, OMG, and Vortex.
Yeah.
Jack Thriller and Ricochet.
Well, I'm going to see Scotty next week and in Chicago. I can't wait to see him again. You know?
Yeah. And so from there, my first WWE show was SummerSlam 2008 at the Fieldhouse in Indy. And of course, that's the one with Hell in the Cell, Edge versus Undertaker down through the ring. And that just captivated me. But actually, what was probably more important was what happened the day before.
Right.
I've been going to a couple local shows.
Yeah.
And I went to an autograph signing at the Indiana State Fair the day before SummerSlam. And I just happened to be standing in line behind I was a fan of.
Right.
And they recognized me from the shows, and we kind of, started to talk. And it was a 2-hour line, and we and from then on, guys have been pretty tight. And it actually led later on to my position with Emerge. One of those guys was Donnie Idol. And Donnie ended up winning the Emerge Championship, getting some pull in the company. They needed a couple more production guys.
Right.
So I had done production stuff in high school, and they brought me in to run camera. And by my third show there ended up being a vacancy at play-by-play.
Right.
They needed somebody at the announce desk, and I was like, I went there and started working my craft, and then by the end of that next year, I was all the way up to head of production.
Wow.
And so now I coordinate all of our video, DVD content, our YouTube presence, some other very, very exciting stuff that I can't announce yet, but that we have in the works. Definitely be watching all of that stuff. And cross promotion with World's Finest, which we're actually lucky enough last year, Donnie, or the aforementioned Donnie Idol, was in a match. Some guy, we're not sure who was behind it. I still don't know who the guy was, but ran in with a chair, and Donnie ended up with a hairline fracture in his neck. And so he's been out ever since then, and of course, come to realize that wrestling usually ends up working. But Donnie, our doctors haven't quite cleared Donnie yet at Emerge, but World's Finest has given him the opportunity, June 9th, to hone his craft in the 8-night tournament they have going on for their champion.
Oh, wow.
And so I'm really, really glad that I'm going to be ringside for World's Finest. Because I want to make sure Donnie's all right. Donnie's my buddy now of 10 years. And so I really, really want to make sure he's in a good place, make sure there's no nefariousness going on. But man, either way, that's just a stacked card that I'm looking forward to as well. It's a really, I was in the locker room of a show not too long ago, and the booker was talking to some of the boys and said, and I'd be inclined to agree, where we're at in central Indiana, as far as the wrestling revolution, we, as far as, the work rate, the athleticism, the characters, it's so hot all around us, and we're kind of working to catch up. So I'm so glad right now that, number one, Emerge is hotter than ever, and we got some great stuff coming up, but also we got a new company like World's Finest that, you see so many shows, and it's their first show, and you're like, who in the world are any of these people?
Yep, I know. You always get that, but then you're like, wait a minute, this guy is actually
might be this guy's first time in a ring.
Yeah.
And so I'm really glad that, I mean, with World's Finest, every match there has somebody that, if you've gone to one show in Indiana, you'll know. Guys like Apollo Star, guys like Isaiah, guys like Donnie Idol. Cody Hawk is going to be on the card that night competing in the tournament. Yeah. And it's just a lot of fun. So I always tell people, you're going to want to look out for this central Indiana area, because pretty soon it's going to be the one that people are talking about, I think.
Yeah, there's so many companies right now in in that territory and all around. Really, there's one promotion I really like I'm starting to like. It's and I'm gonna definitely go and check them out sometime. Is that Warriors for Wrestling? That's a good cause because they $10, they give cans of food, and you can watch wrestling. Come on, that's a really good deal. You don't get
that. There's another one run by my buddy Rich in Indy that is Wrestling Theology Fellowship, which is a really interesting story because originally the organization just was a bunch of Christian wrestling fans doing watch parties for pay-per-views. Right. And now they're one of the hottest wrestling organizations in Indiana. Yeah. Which is really, really cool. Overall, I think there's so many workers coming to have to thank for that. A lot of that is Billy Rock. Yeah. Billy Rock and his School of Rock really churned out, darn near half the Emerge roster. I mean, we're talking about guys like Dale Patrick, who is competing all over the place. School of Rock. Now, of course, Ruby Riott, who we all affectionately know as Heidi. She made it all the way. And then you've got guys like Congo Kong training people too.
I know. Look where he is. Look where he is, TNA man, doing his thing. With Jimmy Jacobs in his back.
In town for Emergence Day, which is our big anniversary event in January. Right. And there was maybe a certain superplex during that match that may or may not have broken some of the welds in our ring, and we've had to switch to a backup ring. Right.
You have to have the support for them, that's for sure.
But that's the thing, and, especially even in just the entire Midwest area, now you have Sammy.
I know.
And you've got so many really good trainers that I think there's no way it's not going to become a hot spot.
No. And you got Prodigy Pro, that's another good promotion. That's pretty out there, and, so many promotions, Bandit Wrestling. There's so many, little independent companies out that way. It's like, wow, come on, go out.
Yeah, and from my perspective, right, because, I'm a lifelong wrestling fan. Yeah. But what I've always been fascinated by is production. I was and will be forever the kid who watches all of the featurettes. Right. On back when there were 2 DVDs and the second one was special features. Yeah. I would put in the second one first and watch the making of before I even watched the movie. Yes. And I think part of what's holding us back, and therefore what I'm trying to spearhead, is the production value. Yeah. There is, in the world we live in, and I've talked to another school that's just starting up, but you're going to want to watch, is New Era Wrestling's training out of Shelbyville. I know the guys who are running that, including Chris Caliber, who I talked about. Yeah. And I've talked to their trainees, their first class, who are getting ready to graduate, and it's, promos and all of this stuff, where I was like, seriously, back to my point earlier, those $8 Walmart daylight bulbs.
Yes. Yeah.
You can make in a black sheet you get from Goodwill, and you hang it up and you make it look like you're in a studio. Everybody has a high-definition camera in their pocket. There is no reason in today's wrestling society how good everything is that you should be doing these crappy promos in your bedroom with all of your shirts behind you when for less than $100 you can get a tripod to hold your phone, a lighting setup, and a backdrop. And so that's why I try to tell the Emerge guys, that's what I've talked to everybody that I have the opportunity to talk about. I've been in the business for 2.5 years. I'm nobody in the business.
I know.
I've been in production for a long time. And the way, I'm a communications major. So for everything, me is about what's happening and how it's perceived. When you invest in yourself and you look like a superstar, that is when people are going to pay money to see you.
Yeah, that's true.
And, I mean, literally, I've done videos, like, with a button-up t-shirt on, and then, like, just my underwear on below that, in front of the curtains in my room, and made it look good, because I know what I'm doing. And there's the worker side of things, where you have to be trained in the ring in order to do what any of these guys do and be good at it. However, there's also the production aspect that I want people to know, because that's how you're not going to be noticed by anybody unless you can use multimedia.
Yeah, and the audio has to be just right, and you know what I mean? The microphone has to be set.
Yeah.
Because, you know what, you go to a show, you know how many times you go to a show, and your microphone, it's really muffled.
Yeah. Well, I will say, though, I traveled on the road playing music for a while, and to a certain extent, there's nothing you can do about a gym.
Yeah, I know.
The gym with those halogen light bulbs, it just messes with the sound system. But and again, you can get really good used mics for less than $100.
I know.
It's so important to make sure that your production is there. As I'm not speaking ill of anybody. I'm not here to bury anybody. But there are 2 wrestling promotions in Columbus, Indiana. One of them uses lights, sound, and has entrance videos for all of the wrestlers. One of them is an old fairground building, and people walk out of a tarp that is spray painted with the logo. One of these promotions draws 300 to 400 fans a month. One of them draws 50 to 100 fans a month. And aside from the in-ring aspect, if you can make people walk in the building and go, ooh. Aside from and instead of people walking in and going, eh? Then that influences things as much as anything else. And that is where I always want to be on the cutting edge. I always want to be thinking ahead. Like, we started doing, we had a pre-show match that we were doing that wasn't much of anything, and it was just for the fans who showed up early. But we started to think, what if we made this pre-show match an event? And then we got it sponsored, and now it is on Facebook Live. 3 months later, WWE Mixed Match Challenge happened. And they start doing matches on Facebook Live.
I know.
And I'm not saying WWE copied us. No. WWE's probably never heard of a merge. But that the big guys are going to cover. Before the big guys have it, that is important. You derive what you need to, and you come up with the rest. And that's, I think, the struggle.
Yeah.
Is we're in this weird place in wrestling.
Yeah.
Where half the people think, oh no, you just have to go out and flyer, and half the people think, well, no, we need to just promote on social media, and the answer is somewhere in the middle, and I think that's something that the entire indie wrestling business is trying to find exactly where that answer is. How much money do you put into promotion on Facebook?
Yeah.
How much of a difference in the bottom line does it make?
Yeah, it's
At the same time, how much money do you put into printing flyers?
Yeah.
How much does that affect your bottom line?
Sure.
And, of course, Emerge is lucky enough that one of our main sponsors is a coffee place.
Yeah, so we can't complain there. Cannot complain.
Yeah.
It's not sitting in your house like a promoter
exactly.
with the printer. But hold on, I got my scissors.
It's so important to be able to promote yourself multiple ways, and the first promotion that draws 300-400 that finds right where that little niche is, right where that little Venn diagram meets in the middle, they're going to be the ones that are drawing 1,000, 1,500 within the next couple of years.
Then they try this thing called Twitch TV, and you know what? That doesn't really do too good either. That House of Hardcore does that, and it freezes up, That's kind of you notice that? The issue there is just very few people really know right now how to stream wrestling live. Yeah.
And you've got to have a heck of a setup to get it out there. I know, Twitch is a really popular platform.
Gaming. Gaming. I know.
Stream on it for gaming and whatnot. The issue is everybody kind of has to learn what, again, your bandwidth needs to be, what your power needs to be, how much you can spend on that, how much it affects your bottom line to actually get it out there where it doesn't freeze. And I know enough about computers to know you need quite a powerful rig. And knowing Tommy, I know that pretty soon it'll work out perfect, but it's just...
Yeah.
It's another one of those new frontiers where, and you know that it's the future.
Yeah.
And you know that you're watching the infant stages of the future, but it's at point A, and it needs to be at like point D, and we're all wondering out how to get there and who can get there first.
Yeah, that's cool. You know what I mean? It's really interesting. Twitch is that's a new, that's the new, that's like the new Periscope. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Periscope was the new. And that was the new, and it just keeps evolving, and all these platforms as well. One of them is going to end up sticking and be the next Facebook that sticks around, or be the next Twitter that sticks around. I think Twitch is probably going to be that, but we'll have to see in a couple of years.
You never know. Google might have something by then too.
Exactly. Or just buy Twitch.
Yeah.
Because there's something to be said for that IP.
Yeah. You never know.
Yeah.
I was always a tech gadget guy. I always just messed around with crap. Oh, I could hack it. I could get into this phone and see what I could do with my cell phone. What kind of programs I could get into.
It's a minefield, but it's a fascinating.
It is. I was like that little kid that used to take the stereos apart when I was a kid, What's on the inside of a speaker? Okay, here's a wire. Let me try this wire and play with this wire,
Yeah, I did that once, got shocked, didn't feel the need to do it again.
yeah, I think I did that too.
The first time I got shocked on any of that stuff, I was like, alright, there's a reason they put it together like this.
Yeah, and then
I'll just trust them.
Yeah, that's why you read the label. Caution.
Yeah. Do not use this hairdryer in the shower. But I wonder why.
Yeah, but So you've gone to a lot of shows. I've gone to a lot of shows. It's crazy,
Yeah.
It's just amazing what you see as kids, and Like, I grew up with the WWF, I grew up on that stuff back in the day, I mean, I was a fan of the Ricky the Dragon to, Piper to the whole roster, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which was really cool.
What's amazed me since I got into the business is watching wrestling can actually do. So every year Emerge has an event in downtown Columbus where the city shuts down, actually has been nice enough to shut down one of its busiest streets.
Right.
And we put the ring in the middle of the street.
Yeah.
And it's always a free show. And we always raise money for charity. And the able to get from that, the amount of good things that we've been able to do through that is so important because, wrestling has a stigma around it. And I'm not even talking about in the court of public opinion so much as like when you're going to try to find a building. Oh, what are you? We're professional wrestling. Well, I'm not interested.
Yeah.
When you're going to get sponsors, what are my sponsors? When you're trying to set stuff up with the city and you say wrestling and they're not interested, luckily able to break through that wall. But I think it's so important for us to realize and to show people how much of a force for good the wrestling industry can be. And, like, I've seen so many examples of that. I mean, just recently, the crazy deathmatch man himself, Adam Bueller, diagnosed
I know, man.
with cancer.
One of my
and
friends.
Within,
He's a good friend. He's
a couple of weeks.
Yes.
I mean, within a week, everybody is like, hey, let's set up a benefit show. Let's help out Adam. Let's do the right thing. And it's like, man, you can do so much good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Of course, Adam was actually on the first show I ever worked.
Yeah.
He was in a six-way that night in Freetown, Indiana. And, I followed his career, and I've seen the things that he's done. And, it sucks when it happens to one of the good guys.
You know what the cool thing? No, the cool thing is, I actually recommended Adam to come down to my town to do a show. I scouted him. I scouted his town, helped my friend pick him for a show. The fans loved him. He's coming back this summer. He'll be back again. He'll be back in November. November or something. I mean,
It's like I was saying. It's terrible to see when stuff like that happens. And it's legitimately one of the good guys.
Yep.
But seeing the response. Is just
overwhelming.
Crazy. Yeah.
It is. It is. Family, friends, and family, and it's they know who it is.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I've always heard about the wrestling business is the tried and at least was true. You have a lot of coworkers in wrestling, but very few friends.
Yep.
And while to a certain extent that's true, seeing the family that is the wrestling industry, and all of these guys who travel up and down the roads together, supporting each other, when when the tragic accident happened and one of the hooligans shattered his leg, there was a benefit show. When Kyle Maverick broke his foot in half a night after, unfortunately, winning one of our championships, so we had to vacate it, there was immediately a GoFundMe set up.
Yeah, we had it. Yeah, and the rest of the Low Life Louie had a fundraiser. We threw him, and he got money. It was amazing,
Yeah.
And Matt Tremont, the one and only Bulldozer, we did something for him too. He had a fundraiser for him, So there's so many people that we helping, We're lucky to live in a society where we can help,
Yeah, definitely.
And I've always been one for helping, no matter what,
Well, I mean, you have to. If you want to act like you're anything as a person,
Yep.
or that you've achieved to give back with the tools you have.
Yep.
And, like, if that's not money, if, for instance, you have a podcast, right,
yep.
where you can promote things.
Absolutely.
Then that's how you give back.
Yep.
Or, like, in the case of the Adam Bueller show, I'm not trying to put myself over or anything, but when I heard that it was happening, I messaged, Jason Saint, who's trying to put it together, and I'm like, anything you need, any of my cameras, anything that I have, I'm there, because you need to give back.
Yep. Yeah. Yep. And it's for a great cause, It really is. It is. Because we're blessed, We're blessed by them.
Yeah, I mean, anybody who is lucky enough to be in or around the business that we grew up loving. And there's so many surreal moments. Like, I mean, I had an hour-long discussion about wrestling with Raven as I drove Raven to the airport after we had booked him for a show, and I got to call a match with Raven in it.
Do you know who I had at my house? I had the homeless Jimmy at my house. How about that? And John Wayne Murdoch, Reed Bentley, and the boys. Yeah. Yes, 1 year.
Yeah, but, I mean, like, when you're in the car with somebody like Raven, and he's like, you want to hear the best piece of advice I ever heard? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, it's something that Roddy told me. And I'm like, okay, yes, sir.
Right.
It's just, for anybody, I don't understand how, well, I do understand, but it's still hard to comprehend how people get so jaded in the wrestling, even be within spitting distance of it.
You're right. Yeah, so, it was really, really cool moment when, like homeless Jimmy. I mean, like, I was, like, excited because I was like, I grew up on XPW, You're the guy, and you did a roof bump in CZW? Come on, man, versus Mondo, But, no, his stories are funny. His stories are always great,
Yeah.
And still wrestles. Still could go.
Yeah.
He still goes,
That's amazing.
I know.
Some of the longevity in the business of some of these guys is just mind-boggling.
I know. Just like I was just like, wait a minute, homeless Jimmy just was in California with Aiden, Aiden Blackheart, and he, like, wow, California, here they are, going at it, But no, it's crazy. It's a crazy world now, They're all doing their thing, man,
Yeah, and I mean, like, there's the reverse of it, too, where, like, for instance, seeing Drake ref in WWE, seeing Heidi wrestling for, like, women's championships in WWE, and, like, I met in a theater in Lafayette, Indiana, and she was one of the people who, like, shook my hand, learned my name, and remembered it because she's just that kind of a person.
Yeah.
And now seeing them
on
there,
TV, I know, seeing them there, and it's like, yep, you guys made it. You're awesome.
Yep. I mean, we got a ref that was born and bred in the Columbus area. He used to actually work at a store with my dad, Jason Ayers.
Yeah.
And now he's in WWE.
Yeah.
And he's reffing high-profile matches And,
it's like my friend.
Dingy old tapes of him in 2002 wrestling in a tag team with Johnny Idol.
It's like my friend from Jersey All Pro Wrestling. His name's Bandito Jr. He's Eddie Orange, the referee,
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing. And Sean Bennett, another, independent wrestling guy, just, made his name reffing, And there he's on TV.
Yeah, no, it's...
Yep.
It's fantastic. And that's, when I start to survey the scene and really look for that who's next.
Yeah.
Who's the next guy that I'm going to see, like, in 5 years is a Cole Radrick going to be on that kind of a stage?
Yeah.
Is, your Dale Patricks and your Sage Phillips of the world and your Bomb Shelters of the world.
Yes.
Like, man, where can they go?
At one time, she was on there, she took a little gander at it. She was on a couple surprise, made a couple appearances.
And we're already experiencing that to a certain extent. We had about a 5-6 month run with Zachary Wentz and Desmond Xavier.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're, champions, and they're wrestling all over the world, and they put on, like, one of my favorite matches we've ever had in Emerge. And I remember one of the guys at Emerge, when Desmond walked in, he said, that's going to be one of those guys that you say, I knew him when. And now it's already starting to happen.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, there's so many guys on the roster, on talents that we know now in our in our federations, our feds that we watch. It's like, wow, okay, here we go. They're gonna be the next people to go,
Yeah,
and it's
that's why
it's like the one female that's real popular down on the East Coast, and she is in the NXT training right now. She's like the next China of wrestling. Yeah.
Right.
She's a dominating woman, but she can wrestle, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And, that's why TakeOver was such a special thing for me. Mm-hmm. Because, like, the second show I ever went to, opening match,
yeah,
Ricochet was in it.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, I was live watching this same dude make his NXT debut.
Yeah.
And it was so crazy. And then in the access line, the next day, I stood in line to, meet him.
Yeah.
And I've got a picture of me with him from, like, 2007.
Yeah.
And, like, I stood in line to meet this guy at WrestleMania Access. Now, granted, about 5 minutes before we got up there to Ricochet, disappointed until they replaced him with Paige, and then I wasn't disappointed anymore.
Right. Yeah. That's crazy.
But, I don't know, man, just seeing guys who inspired me to get in the business, and, like, Billy Rock was on that first IWA show that I went to, and I was there for his last match.
Yeah.
Emerge bought the ring from the School of Rock. That's our ring.
Yep.
And then Congo Kong broke it. But,
yeah. No.
That's neither here nor there.
Yeah. No duct tape will ever fix that.
Yeah, really.
But,
and then we haven't had a chance to get the repairs done on it that we need to because we're in Indiana.
Yeah.
So it's like 70 one day and then snow the next. And I think, thank God, we're finally out and it's going to be good weather from now on.
Yeah.
But, we're going to get the ring fixed and we're going to be exactly where we need to be. Thank God we've got, again, good friends in the business that can hook us up when we need a ring.
Yeah. Absolutely. There's so many guys like that,
But, yeah, and I mean, there's not going to be any better reward for finishing my my finals this week.
Yeah.
Then the summer that I'm about to embark on with Emerge and
some other things.
The amazing summer we're gonna have there, and World's Finest, and potentially the Adam Bueller show, and all of the cool stuff that's going to be happening over the next couple of months. It's going to be a lot of fun. But for me, that road starts Saturday.
Yeah. Really, you're set, and you know what? It's going to be amazing. It's going to be like, wow, here we go.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, I have a show this coming Saturday, and then I'm traveling the next Saturday, Thursday. I'm heading the road,
Yeah.
It's going to be fun. It'll be fun to just get out with 5 of my friends from New Jersey. We're traveling, road crew.
Yeah.
And then bring it back home, and we got wrestling again, coming back and doing our TOD tour, or Game Changers. We have TOS, and then we have TOD. Our season of blood is not over.
Yeah.
It's just the season picks up.
Yep, it seems like it's always picking up.
Yeah, it is.
And it never seems to slow down.
No.
And when you're overwhelmed with work, you always promise yourself it's going to slow down, and then it doesn't.
Oh, yeah. I know, you got a show every weekend. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
But, again, blessed.
Exactly, man. Exactly. Well, Casey, I want to say thank you for being on my show tonight.
Absolutely, pleasure.
Feel free to plug Emerge and all your media stuff and social media and this and that and this and that.
Yeah, of course. I mean, we're on every form of social media. Mm-hmm. We've either got at Emerge Wrestling or at Emerge Pro Wrestling. We have almost always the first Saturday of the month at Parkside. Lovely relationship with the people there. Mm-hmm. Also, check out World's Finest Wrestling June 9th. World's Finest is trying to be an upstart promotion and be just that you can find, and the production is going to be there. You don't have to worry about that. Mm-hmm. The wrestling, I mean, just look at the names on the poster. It is going to be there. Don't worry about that.
One other thing I wanted to tell you, please spread the word to your friends in the wrestling business to come jump on my podcast.
Definitely.
Anybody else in the business, even a referee.
They bring such a different... I like to think as a production guy, I bring a different look. Mm-hmm. And the refs do that as well. They can talk about things that you never even think of.
Exactly. But anybody, you could, and if I ever find somebody, I'll pass you along. Who knows? You might come down and do a show for us for media guy. Come on to the Jersey Shore. What the heck?
Yeah, why not?
Come on, bring your equipment. So check you out on Facebook and all this and that and this and that.
Yeah, I'm the fat guy with the girl who's way too pretty for him. So that's me.
What was that TV show you were on there? I was looking at that. What was that? NBC like a.
That was for our downtown throwdown event last year that I was telling you about. Yeah. We were okay. So there is an organization that we work with pretty closely in Indiana called Developmental Services Incorporated, DSI. Yeah. And DSI helps the mentally disabled find a place in the world. Yeah. They give them jobs. They have a warehouse there. They come. They learn. There's all kinds of really cool programs there. Without sounding disparaging, because I love the people over at DSI. Yes. Think of it kind of like a really advanced daycare system. Yep. And one of their guys there, Justin Wells, he's always wanted to be a wrestler, and because of his autism, that may or may not be an option for him. But we decided, again, give back. We can let him live his dream for one night. And he worked the same show as Raven. He was in one of our main events. That full match, again, plug, is on youtube.com/emerge wrestling. If you find it, it's a 6-man tag. Yeah. And there were 1,100 smoke and everything, and that was fantastic. But we've got a friend at RTV6 in Indianapolis that we reached out to him, and we're like, we're doing this awesome thing. And he's like, well, of course I'm going to come down and cover you. Mm-hmm. So we got to be on TV a couple times, got them to plug the show. Yeah. And again, stuff that you never thought would happen. No. We ended up being a part of. And I'm telling you, if I can leave you with any parting words, watch Emerge and watch World's Finest, because the stuff that we've got in the tank right now that we're about to let loose on the world is going to make all of that stuff seem like child's play.
That's right. You're right. All right, man. Casey, I want to say thank you again, and please come back. Anytime you want to come back, anytime, you're more than welcome. My podcast is open to you, you know?
Yeah, sure thing.
My studio's door shut, but, you know.
Yeah.
But thank you again for being on. And you have a good night, man. And this
absolutely, man.
And this will be right up live podcast, so it's going to be uploaded really quick.
Excellent.
You know, so we'll be able to share it with everybody.
Cool.
All right. You have a good night.
You too, man.
All right. Bye-bye. That was really cool, fans. If you don't really know what's going on, behind the scenes, like, it's really amazing what these guys do. Casey does the play-by-play, use audio, camera, video. He knows what it's all about. Emerge Wrestling has some cool stuff coming. Check it out, fans. Emerge Wrestling and World's Finest is coming. Get out to a show. Check it out. In Ohio, and I can't go out to Ohio once in a while for some shows. Stay tuned, fans, because fans, we're gonna have I'm gonna be talking to the Gorilla from writer for Gorilla Position on. His name is Ryan Bowman, and we're gonna be talking to him. And like I said before, fans, and all of your social media for the Deathmatch Russell and partner links, social media, I want to start out with a shout out to Wrestle PodCast tonight, Robbie Nelson of the Wrestle PodCast. And a shout out to the Everett Lee Show. Everett Lee. The Everett Lee Show. Check it out, fans. Every Friday night we do a Facebook Live. Nelson of Wrestle Podcast joined the crew. And we do some fun stuff with that. We're going to be doing some things on a Saturday. Check it out. We've got some new stuff in store for you. Just a little fun thing to do. Facebook Live and podcast with them, and also shout out to Chris Carnage, the one and only. Check out the Chris Carnage Show, and Pod City Network. Check them out. Go on their Facebook. Check them out. Pod City on Facebook, and go online podcity.net. Check them out. We're part of them. You'll see my episodes up there of the Deathmatch Russell podcast and the Russell Podcast with Robbie Nelson. You'll see his episodes as well. And you can always catch your Deathmatch Russell podcast, current and past highlight reels, this and that. Catch all my promos, highlight reels, merchandise. Support the product. Buy Deathmatch Russell podcast t-shirt. See me at a show. I have them. Say hello. I might even get you on a live podcast at an event. You never know. So come check me out. I'm going to be doing some live stuff this weekend. I think this live podcast from On Point Wrestling as they present Survival of the Sickest 3 at the compound in Blackwood, New Jersey. So you fans need to get out to that show and check it out. if you're in the New Jersey area, New York area, Philadelphia area, all over, just come out and check it out. It's going to be a great deathmatch tournament. 12 guys fighting who will win this year's survival of the sickest 3. And you always check my social media, fans. I always at Deathmatch Russell, Deathmatch Russell on Facebook as David C. Russell, Facebook David C. Russell, and on Twitter at DJ Dave NJ32. And check out my podcast website, as always, for all your merchandise, highlight reels, and everything else, deathmatchrussellpodcast.com. Good night, and talk to you tomorrow, fans. Stay tuned.
Geico. Expect great savings and a whole lot more.
We built this city. We built this city on rock and roll. Built this city. We built this. Say you don't know me. Recognize my face. Say you don't care who goes to that kind of place. Knee deep in the hoopla, sinking in your fight. Too many runaways eating up the night. My party plays the mama. Listen to the radio. Don't you remember we built this city? We built this city on rock and roll. We built this city on rock and roll. Built this city. We built this city on rock and roll. Someone always playing corporation games. Who cares? They're always changing corporation names. We just want to dance here. Someone stole the stage. They call us irresponsible. Write us off the page. My Cody plays the mama. Listen to the radio. Don't you remember we built this city? We built this city on rock and roll. We built this city. We built this city on rock and roll. Built this city. We built this city on rock and roll. It's just another Sunday in a tired old street. Police have got the chokehold. The wind just lost the beat. Who counts the money underneath